Just Joe Callahan, Toronto Star. I know you haven't had too much time to think about this, but the decision not to go with Steph from the start, how do you feel about that, given kind of where the situation of the game when you did bring him on, and then the decision not to bring on Fonzie at all? You'd said yesterday he was good to go. You had one substitute left in the barrel as such after the promise goal. Just wonder about both of those.
Yeah, look, Steph, we wanted to start, but he didn't feel like he was ready to go. So he felt like he was like a 30-minute limit, so that's what we did. And to be honest, Alfonso wasn't ready yet. So I was using him a little bit as a decoy. However, he will be ready next match.
David? Dave Ebner from the Globe and Mail. A missed opportunity, but the team's in the knockout rounds. What are your personal feelings here?
Yeah, I mean, look, we so desperately wanted to continue being here and continue the momentum that has been built around the team and around the tournament in the country. And so, you know, I'm obviously disappointed that we go down 2 goals. I didn't think the start to either half was good. But then I thought in the first half, after the water break, we got ourselves going and then started to find ourselves in the game. And then obviously at 2-0, we pushed hard. And maybe on another day, we're able to get the equalizer. So, you know, we're still developing an understanding of what the best games are like against the best opponents that are the most meaningful games. I mean, Switzerland is a very good team, a very experienced team, a very intelligent team. And I think that showed today. And, you know, we need to continue to understand how to handle those kinds of opponents, how to handle those kinds of games. And we got to do it quickly because we're going to be in the knockout phase, which is exactly where we wanted to be. We wanted to be here in Vancouver, but we still have a massive opportunity ahead of us to find a way to push for the next match and find a way to still electrify the nation, even though it'll be from Los Angeles.
And to squeeze in one more, what are your reflections on the defensive breakdown at the beginning of the second half?
We started passive, which is how we started the first half. Like we had a chance to close down the ball on the wing. We had a chance to close down the ball before it came across, and we didn't deal well with either of those. We didn't really press them. We didn't really sprint. We didn't really go after them. So again, we started the half passive, which everything we talk about is about being the aggressor and making sure that when we press and when we play, we sprint. And in the first 20 minutes and of the first half and in the first 10 minutes of the second half, we had very few sprints and very little intensity, and then we become more susceptible and open.
Matthew?
Jesse, what is the reasoning behind this sense of being passive? You've said it a couple of times, and how much with this short turnaround are you going to lean into maybe the mentality of Copa America? Because that kind of intensity you wanted away with aggressive crowds against your team. You might have that in LA, especially if it's South Korea. How are you going to be leaning into that at all?
How to explain passivity, I don't know. Because everything that we work on and work through is about really being aggressive and using our athleticism and our team speed. The only thing that I feel a little is that when the momentum or when the occasion is momentous, that players get a little tighter, and then their natural reaction is to hold back a little bit more instead of going for it more. So, look, we're gonna make sure that we evaluate that again, and make sure that we incorporate that again for our next match. We have to learn from it. The Copa America part. Yeah, I mean it's kind of a long time ago, but we do know what it's like to go away and play in the States and play in big games. So we're gonna have to be ready for that.
Coach Jim Moore from Canadian Press. I was interested in your comment earlier. You talked about Alfonso yesterday. You said you used him as a decoy. So there was never
No, he was never going to play today.
And why did you said you used him as a decoy. What was the thought behind that?
Because I wanted Switzerland to have to think about him.
You think it worked?
I think I listened to their press conference. They had like 3 questions about Alfonso Davies, so they at least had to prepare for that.
Carlos?
Jesse, en español, ¿puedo? Es Spanish. Mi pregunta, Carlos Benítez.
¿Sí?
Carlos Benítez de Pelota de Maple. Yo
Carlos and Benitez from Pelota. So before, you have spoken about the strength of the mindset of your team and that it has evolved. So how would you make it even stronger in a World Cup? Because this is a game of a lot of details, but and then Switzerland got a goal in first few seconds of the second half. How can you work on strengthening their mindset?
Look, we have developed a stronger mindset, and we've developed a clear identity of how we want to play. But a lot of our matches have been friendlies. We've fared well at Copa America. We had some good moments in Gold Cup, but some that weren't as good. And so still in the biggest games, we need to find ways to put together complete performances and make sure that we're on top of all the details over 90 minutes. That was one of the things I was so happy with about Qatar, and I wanted the team to use that momentum and put it to the test against an opponent like this. So we came up a little short, and that's unfortunate. But again, we're in the knockout round, and we know we're gonna have a good opponent in the next match, and we're gonna make sure that we're up for it better.
Patrick.
Jesse, Patrick Johnston here from the province of Vancouver. Promise, I think, just sort of was asked, what you said, and you said something to the lines of "wake the F up" at some point in the game, whether it was post or during.
I didn't say that, but it might have been. That's
what he
Promise's
took as the
interpretation.
message.
That's
what he took as
Promise's
the message.
interpretation.
Why do you think your team struggled, as you've sort of noted, to start? Like, were they overwhelmed by the moment? Was it something else? Was it the Swiss pressure?
Yeah, I think. Look, I think we create a match plan. We want to play with intensity. It's hot, and there's a big moment in the stadium. Switzerland breaks us down with a couple of the first plays, and they have experience, and they're calm, and they're intelligent, and so they break us down a couple moments. And then I think we become a little more passive, and we worry about did I handle that play right? Did I handle this play right? And not enough. Okay, we keep going. We keep managing it. We keep understanding what they're doing, and we're going to now figure out how to make adjustments. And so we made some adjustments in the water break, but I mean, the part that Promise is right about is I was like, guys need to want the ball. Guys need to sprint. Guys need to be more aggressive, right? So that's what we have to make sure that we represent and what we show when the games are good.
Last one here in the back.
Hi, Jisoo from Diary Magazine.
Yeah.
So today is Saint Jean Baptiste, so it's a Quebec national holiday, and I noticed that you started Mathieu Choignard and Nathan Saliba in the center mid. How do you make of the performance over Stephen Eustachio, who came on and kind of had immediate impact? And how do you find Saliba's assist and overall performance today?
Yeah, Saliba's assist was great. In general, I thought they played well. But it's a big moment for them and against a good opponent in the middle of the pitch that can pass the ball around well. And when they're playing against Xhaka and his ability to kind of dictate the game, it stresses their ability to see things and get on the ball and play with confidence. But yeah, I thought that both played well. But you could see that Steph's experience when he comes in and his understanding of the moment is obviously elevated because he has more of those experiences. But both of those players have a big future, and I think will continue to be part of what we do. And then look, the last thing I'll say is, you mentioned also, like, not having Ismail hurts us, right? Like, there's a guy that in the game can still find actions and get himself going. Moyes, we'll see. I think Moyes could be ready from the start against the next opponent or the next match. Alfonso will be ready. So we have to give our team a lot of credit. We've had a lot of adversity. We've had a lot of injuries. We've had to manage a lot of different situations. We've still got a really good point in the first game. We had a fantastic performance against Qatar. And on another day, even though we go down 2-0 in the last 10 minutes, on another day, maybe we get a goal and then maybe we win the group. But, it was just a matter of fine margins. But we got ourselves in position to be second in the group, go down to LA, compete to continue on in this tournament, and we're going to take advantage of that and make sure that we put our best effort forward.
Mohammed.
Thank you.
Jesse Marsch, coach of Canada. Thank you.